Ladies and gentlemen, Claude Opus 4.5 is here. In today's video, I'm going to try to see if I can run a profitable digital ad campaign for my e-com business. I'm going to give it a real budget, and we're going to see if it can beat last year's sales. So let's dive in. Okay, we're going to start by putting a prompt into both ChatGPT 5.1 and also Opus 4.5, and we want to do that just as a comparison, so we have a benchmark so that we can compare it to ChatGPT to see how good or if the input or the output is any better from Opus 4.5. And let's see. So we'll start by giving the same prompt to both. And for the prompt, we're going to have the important structure of personality, role, context, goal, constraints and assumptions, workflow, output format, and as well as an important reminder at the bottom. So we'll run this in both and we will compare the outputs to see what we like better. While we wait, I'll just give you a quick little overview of the business the e-com business that my wife and I started a few years ago. It started off pretty hot, but in the last couple of years, we both have just been pulled in other directions in our lives, so we haven't been able to dedicate as much time as we used to. But basically, the formula for us is you post on Instagram and we drive sales. So we've never really done much with digital advertising, so I'm interested to see where this project goes. But for us, we're going to be focusing a digital advertising campaign on just the apparel. So we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and that kind of thing. So we will see if we can make anything out of this. Okay, so it looks like ChatGPT has finished. Claude has also finished. Actually, first it looks like they have some questions. So let me fill these in first so we can get it going. Okay, so I think this is a good reason why I want to do the benchmark. I wanted to see how the response and the output compared from ChatGPT 5.1 to Opus. Looking through the questions and reading this, it just looks like there's a lot more involved with answering these questions from ChatGPT. It's asking, for example, what are the top 3 products, but it doesn't say where to pull that information from Shopify. The gross margin I know how to look up in Shopify, but it would be nice if it told me what report to look at, and then inventory and fulfillment. So I took a look at this and I was about to start answering it, but then I thought I should just at least see what Opus came up with. And I thought the questions with the immediate how you should answer this question just made so much more sense and just made it a lot easier on me. So we can make this simpler. I'm just going to stop using 5.1 for now and I'm just going to switch totally over to Opus, and I will be using that for the rest of this. So let's start at the top. So it has some qualifying questions on products and economics. Let's see, I'm going to try to see if it can just tell me all the reports to run, and I'm just going to drop all the requested reports into the chat to see if we can start working off of that. Okay, so this ran for about, I would say 10 minutes. It doesn't have the actual timestamp on the response. So what it did was it created a Word doc for me, which I think is a good format to read this in. So I'm going to read through it really quick, and I know that there's already some things that I want to send back to improve. I am going to provide the inventory, and then I can just flip through this really quick to show you, but it gave a quick snapshot of what we have going on here. So the primary, let's see, 21-day sprint, 0 ad history. So we're going to start broad and learning fast. Okay, great. So the primary channel is going to be Facebook and Instagram, 80% of the budget. Google is 20% of the budget. Our hero product, it's saying, is the Golden Cod necklace. Our immediate offer is that we're going to put free shipping on the website over orders of $75. And then our goal is $2,000 to $4,000 in revenue. I think that's probably pretty aggressive. Basically, we're starting pretty flat. And then, okay, so it has some assumptions and constraints. And then it goes down into a mix and budget allocation between Meta and then it also Google branded search. Okay, so then it's saying to let Advantage Plus on Meta do the work. And then it goes over the creative messaging and plan. Okay, and then so creative assets to produce, and this is what I was most concerned with because this is what we've put a lot of time into the past, which has always been totally focused on Instagram. And basically the formula is for us is if we post good Instagrams, we drive sales. We just haven't had the time to arrange photo shoots, models, and do all that. So I'm hoping that we can try to rely more on ads for this season. Then it goes over the free shipping over $75. That's pretty easy. And then to send traffic on these to a holiday gift guide, which that's going to take a little bit of time to whip up on Shopify, but it shows how to do that. And it has an email support plan. So we have almost 700 subscribers. So it's saying that's a good start, and it's giving me a 5 email sequence from now until December 15th. So it's going to, okay, so I think this is an awesome start. I'm going to send back in what my current inventory is. I'm also going to make sure that it's completely aware that I'm an absolute beginner when it comes to Google ads as well as Meta and Meta ads, to make sure that the step-by-steps are as specific as possible so I can try to do this following along. And then I like the document, but what I want to see is how well it does with PowerPoint. So I think I'm going to also ask for just a general business overview, like what the lay of the land is right now with the Golden Cod in more of a PowerPoint deck. So I'm going to try that, and then we can check back in. Okay, Opus 4.5 ran for about 20 minutes, and I would say half of the 20 minutes was rerunning the slides because the information on the slides wasn't fitting the layout wasn't fitting on the slide, so it kept going and going. So let's review the PowerPoint first. Okay, starting with the slide deck, I don't think the immediate output or the outcome that we received compared to, I would say, Sonnet 4.5 in the past was that much like a noticeable improvement. I think the title slide is pretty basic and whatever, and we do have some text overlap. I think on the executive summary, I think it has solid metrics, but it's not clear to me, like there's no date range off the jump unless there's like an issue with maybe it's using white font and we can't read it. But the metrics are good. So we have total net sales, average order value, total orders, and email subscribers. And then the strategic findings, which I think were all pretty good. And then on the sales performance analysis, I thought this was pretty solid. 80% of our annual sales come through the holiday season. That's good to know. Again, it looks like maybe text was omitted or it's not showing up on the year over year little bar here. And then same thing for the total products by net sales. It looks like it's either just missing. But jewelry making up 54% of our revenue, I think that's eye-opening to me. I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought that our apparel carried a little bit more than the jewelry actually. So that's interesting, and I can dive in there. And then, yeah, same thing on the inventory analysis. It looks like we're just missing data. Let's see, traffic and customer analysis, South Shore, Massachusetts dominates. And then so strategic recommendations, lead with jewelry, avoid apparel. And the reason why we're avoiding apparel, I read this, was that we basically are missing a lot of medium and larges in those products. So we don't want to frustrate customers by putting up an advertising and then just the products they want to buy are no longer available. So we're going to geo-target New England, and then we're going to activate our email campaign. And then at the bottom, it gave us a 3-week launch plan with checklists and some success metrics. So I think this is pretty solid. I'm going to go back to try to see if we can get it a little bit more populated, but we don't have to waste time on that quite yet. And then let's also look at the Word doc that it had revamped for us. Okay, so I think this is great, and it's making this extremely obvious to me now, but I wouldn't have thought this going in. But we do not want to advertise apparel through these digital ads just because we don't have the sizes in stock. And like I said, it's going to frustrate customers. So we're just going to focus on jewelry and hats for the advertising. So I think for me to deem this a success, I'm going to try to create an ad on Meta, and I'm going to try to complete the steps to create the ads on Google. And then to do both of those, it looks like I have to create a new holiday shopping guide landing page on Shopify. So I'm going to try all of that, and if I can get that all up, I think I'm going to mark that as a success. All right, we're cranking here. So after I got the plan from Opus 4.5 cleaned up a little bit, I had it redo the presentation for just the general formatting, and so I could actually see the text. But I liked it and walked away, had dinner, and then I thought, you know what, let's try to start getting after this. So I started moving through the checklist, and I went through all of the day one checklist items. And through each step of the way, if I had a question or I didn't know how to proceed or how to fill out a field, I just kept working with Claude the whole way. Now, I don't think that part in particular was special to Opus, but I was able to get all the way through, finish all the day one tasks, and started working into the more exciting and actually setting up some of the campaigns from the day 2, day 3 tasks. I also set up the email template, which is going to be ready to get sent out tomorrow morning. So all in all, I'm really impressed with what Opus 4.5 did. I had zero digital advertising experience going into this, so I didn't really know where to go with this plan. But the way that Opus got all this together, put it into, we have 8 slides, very easy to understand, and it's a plan that I can actually follow, and I've already actually been implementing. I thought this was awesome. So I can't wait to see where this goes next. I'll definitely be posting follow-ups to this to show you how the campaigns went and if this was successful at all. But if there's anything else you'd like to see AI try to tackle with this small business or anything we can try to improve, make sure to put a comment. And if you liked the video, please subscribe and look out for the next one. Thanks.